Some people buy a four-wheel drive like this because they've got a job they need to do. They need the payload and the capability and the off-road prowess that this vehicle has to get a particular job done. But that's not the case for everyone. For a lot of people out there, a lot of Australians in particular, we want a vehicle like this because we want to go do something fun. We want the recreational capability that this car unlocks. We want to go somewhere, do something a bit fun, and just let this car take us to a place where a regular car simply cannot go. And that's what we're going to do today on this episode. I've got a place where I want to go to out in the bush. It's a wonderful lookout, tucked away. It's not that very well known. I haven't been there for years actually, so I'm really excited to get back out there and have a look and take in that amazing view once again. And we're going to do it in this Kia Tasman. It's going to be a really nice drive, around 3 hours west of Sydney, out onto the Newnes Plateau, and we're going to be looking out over Wolgan Valley. It's a really nice drive overall. I'm looking forward to getting into it. Let's go.
This has just been a really, really pleasant journey.
As promised, I'm going to let the Gran Turismo stretch its legs.
The four-wheel drive ute has really come a long way in terms of being a more refined and comfortable and modern vehicle overall in this day and age. Once upon a time, the average four-wheel drive ute was pretty basic and rudimentary, but these days, that is not the case. You've got these vehicles that are loaded with technology, have a lot of comfort on the inside, they're nicer to drive as well. They've still got all of that capability in terms of payload, towing capacity, and off-road, but they feel much more well-rounded overall as a car. And this Tasman is Kia's first attempt at a four-wheel drive ute, which is no small feat. And the fact that they've done such a good job of it, to be honest with you, is a real credit to the engineers there, because this is a ute that really does compete with a lot of others at the top of the class. In fact, at Drive Car of the Year Awards this year, 2026, this Kia Tasman won its category as the best four-wheel drive ute under $60,000. It was a finalist also in the category above, utes under $90,000, but this trim level here, the SX, it's well under $60,000, that threshold, but it provides great comfort, great value for money, good technology as well, and a driving experience that is better than you'd probably expect. If you're looking to head off-road yourself, but you're not sure on what sort of gear you should be taking, I just want to give you a bit of a run through of what I've packed in the back of this Tasman for our time in the bush today. Now, what you actually need is going to vary a lot depending on where you're going, what kind of driving you're doing, how remote you're going, and how long you're going for, obviously. But this is a good baseline, I think, to start with. Firstly, a shovel. Any old long-handled shovel will do the job. Really important bit of gear to carry. Go into the garden shed, grab whatever you've got there. This is the one out of mine. It's all looking a little bit second-hand, I do have to say, but that's for a reason though, because I've got what I think is all pretty good quality gear here. I've had it all for a long time. I've used it a lot, so it doesn't look as new and as shiny as it did in the brochure once upon a time, but the quality of the gear is not an issue. So I've got a recovery kit here. That's a good thing to have. I've also got an air compressor as well for adjusting my tire pressures up and down as I need it. Now, it's probably not a full-on necessity to have, but a set of recovery boards like these Max Tracks is really good, and also a tyre repair kit. Now, this is something that you will actually have to figure out how to use, but it's a nice thing to have just in case you run into a puncture on the road. Now, that is a few basics. Now, if you're still not too sure about what to do, my advice would be to find your local four-wheel drive store. Pop in there and just have a chat with the salesman behind the counter because they will give you a pretty good guide. Let them know what you want to do, where you want to go, and they will give you a few pointers in terms of the stuff that you need and, of course, what I think is more important, the stuff that you actually don't need at the same time, because there's all sorts of gizmos and gadgets out there. You don't need everything, just a few basics, but you do need a nice baseline of good quality gear that you might use in case you get into trouble. Now, it's fair to say that this Kia Tasman, well, it's not the best looking ute in its segment. There's been a lot of commenters out there talking about this polarizing exterior design. It's definitely different to everything else out there, but it's probably not to everyone's taste. But for me, the true beauty of this car is from when you're sitting on the inside, because you've got a driving experience, firstly, that is really good for a four-wheel drive ute. This turbo diesel engine, it's torquey, it's fairly refined as well, nice and responsive. You've got a smooth automatic transmission here, and the ride quality is better than you would expect for a four-wheel drive ute. We've got a big payload available here, but it doesn't buck around on the road too much. It's quite smooth and comfortable on a road trip like we're doing today. But also, this interior, it's spacious and comfortable. These cloth seats have plenty of adjustment. I'm nice and comfortable from behind the wheel here. There's good visibility all through the front here, and there's a lot of space as well, especially if you've got people in the back. This is one of the best second row experiences you will get in a four-wheel drive ute. It's really impressive, this Kia Tasman, from that point of view, having all of those off-road capabilities and all of those ute things available, but also having something that is really comfortable. And that's one of the really impressive things about this Tasman. It doesn't really take a backward step in terms of the off-road capability, the towing prowess, or the payload, all of those important ute credentials. But at the same time, you've got a ute that's comfortable and easy to drive. It doesn't feel like a compromise. That really is the strength of this Tasman. I was one of the judges at Drive Car of the Year 2026, and I reckon this is a worthy winner in that very competitive segment. But here's James Ward, another judge, talking about why this Kia Tasman won.
Shopping for a double cab ute in Australia at the value end of the market doesn't mean you have to go without. The Kia Tasman, an incredibly worthy winner of the Drive Car of the Year award for the best double cab ute priced under $60,000, has an incredible interior. The quality, the functionality, the layout that you get on an entry-level 4x4 ute is game-changing. The car's capability, both on-road and off-road, adventuring, touring and towing, shows that this big Kia is one able Tasman and a very, very worthy award winner. If there's anything more that you would like to know about the Kia Tasman or the Drive Car of the Year awards, head on over to drive.com.au.
Well, I mentioned before how many different side tracks and little adventures that you can find out in this part of the bush. And well, I couldn't help myself because we went past one turn off. It said Birds Rock Lookout. I haven't been there before. Bugger it, let's turn in and have a little look. And I'm really glad I did, because this is a really amazing lookout here, which is quite easy to access just off that little side track there. Once upon a time, you could have driven your vehicle up here, but it's been blockaded off for rehabilitation purposes. This area, once upon a time, used to be very lax in terms of rules and regulations, but that has been changing in the last few years with New South Wales National Parks. There is a bit of a conservation plan happening, so there is a bit of limited access in terms of vehicles. But get on foot, you can still get up to this lookout, and it is well worth it because you've got this amazing view of this countryside, and it gives you an idea, I suppose, of the kind of country that we are in at the moment. The first thing I thought about was, imagine those poor guys who actually tried to explore this country many, many years ago. Blaxland, Wentworth and Lawson, those guys who actually went across the Blue Mountains originally. They didn't go through here exactly. It was a little bit further south, obviously, at Mount Victoria, but they would have encountered similar conditions to this. I mean, massive vertical sandstone cliffs, huge canyons, this kind of maze work, trying to get through all of that, and of course, dense forest everywhere. They did it with, what, a couple of horses carrying their gear and maybe a map in their pocket and a bit of an idea in their head. I came here with 22 degrees of climate control and a podcast humming along in the background. A little bit more comfortable than they did it back then. So amazing, amazing countryside to visit.
On Drive TV, we bring you award-winning cars at award-winning locations. And with an Ollie novated lease, you could be driving away in an award-winning car. From a coupe, hatchback, large SUV or electric car, the choice is yours. An Ollie novated lease lets you combine your car payments and most running costs into one regular payment. And because part of that money comes out before tax, your taxable income could be lower. Plus, thanks to the government's EV discount, you could unlock even more tax savings, but only through a novated lease. Find out how much you could save by visiting ollie.com.au.
So we're now on the dirt, and as we're driving further and further into this bush, we're going from tracks that are really well maintained, nice and wide, to tracks that are a little bit bumpier, a bit rougher in spots, a few potholes and bumps to encounter, and the road is also a bit narrower. But overall, if you're looking at doing this drive yourself, the conditions are mostly quite tame here. This isn't some kind of crazy, hardcore, challenging off-road track in terms of trying to really challenge the car and driver in that sense. There is a lot of that stuff out there in this part of the world. So if you're looking for a bit of challenge, you want to test out your car, test out the capability of yourself behind the wheel as well, there is certainly a lot of that out here. But for a nice, quiet drive in the bush, getting out amongst the trees on a beautiful day like today, this is a really nice, peaceful drive. But in saying that, dirt driving is definitely a lot different to driving on the blacktop, and you do need to pay a little bit of extra attention in terms of what's coming up in front of you. In conditions like today, it's not too bad, but if things are a bit wet and slippery, you've got mud or standing water on the road, it's coming over a bump now, you need to really pay attention with that sort of thing. Think about your tyre pressures. Number one, you can definitely lower those down. Now, what that does is increases the contact patch of the tyre on the ground. It gives you better traction, gives you better stability while you're driving along dirt roads like this, but also gives you a bit more ride comfort, which is a good thing. So I tend to find if you air down a little bit, it just makes the drive a little bit more enjoyable at the same time. So yes, when you get back to the blacktop, you do have to air up when you get back on the road, but it's well worth it in my opinion. Who's in a rush anyway? What I think is always good advice for people going out four-wheel driving is, if there's rain forecast or if there's been a lot of heavy rain in recent days, then maybe consider postponing, because it gets a bit more challenging, but also it tears up the track a little bit more, which isn't really good for anyone. So just consider whether you can postpone your trip to another time, let conditions dry out a little bit more. It's always a good idea. The great thing for me about this part of the bush in particular is the amount of variety going on. We've got one lookout in particular that we're aiming for this afternoon, really looking forward to seeing if the sun turns up for sunset there. But I'm driving past a lot of little turn-offs here. Turn-offs to the left, to the right. Some are signposted and some have no signposting at all. There are things like lookouts, other little parts of the world, canyons and things that are tucked away in this bush that are really worth visiting maybe on the next time out. So while we're heading to this lookout, which I'm really excited about, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm thinking maybe next time I come out here, I might go down there and have a look. I've always wondered what's down the end of that road. I don't think there's a better way to spend a weekend, to be honest with you, than just getting out into the bush. Maybe you don't have an agenda of where you want to go, but just see where you end up. If you've got enough gear in the back, a bit of water, a bit of recovery gear, you're a little bit self-sufficient in terms of what you can do, I think it's awesome. And of course, if you're looking for a little bit more than just a day trip out into the bush, you can also do a bit of camping out here. This is a great area for it. There's a whole lot of little campsites tucked away in different parts of the bush that you can find. There's a couple of larger signposted ones as well, but there's enough space out here to maybe find your own little slice of paradise, away from other people, nice and quiet, a bit of serenity. And if you've had a really busy week at work, I think there's nothing better, absolutely, than unplugging from all of that modern stuff and just getting out into the bush for a couple of days. Does wonders. Such a beautiful location here at the Sunnyside Ridge Lookout, but unfortunately there was a little bit of rubbish around at this campsite. It's not the most popular place out there, it's a little bit out of the way, but people do definitely know about it. But the fact that there is rubbish here, I mean, I feel like we as human beings could do a lot better. It doesn't really need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. Don't leave your rubbish if you come to a place like this. And if you do see rubbish, pick it up. Take a spare garbage bag with you. I actually forgot to bring mine, but I've got this fire pit bag that's working for me as a garbage bag for now. There's a few bottles down there. There was a bit of plastic around the place. It's not that hard. Just pick up a few things, clean up after yourself, but also clean up after the others who aren't smart enough to do it themselves, because that means places like this stay open for longer, we don't get those restrictions, and they're just much nicer to be in. So we're up on the Newnes Plateau at the moment, and down there is the Wolgan Valley. When it's a bit brighter, you can see the Wolgan Road travelling through. And you've probably heard of a place called the Emirates Resort. It's a 7-star hotel, apparently. That is tucked away down the end of this valley. Apparently, it's an amazing hotel. I don't even know what 7 stars means, to be honest with you. I'm sure it's an amazing experience that comes at a high price, but you know what? I reckon this experience up here, for effectively no price, is pretty good as well. The other thing to talk about here is your four-wheel drive system in your car. So this Kia Tasman, it's got two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. It's also got a 4A mode, so it's kind of an automatic four-wheel drive mode that is in two-wheel drive most of the time. But when it senses a bit of traction loss, it'll push a bit of drive into those other two wheels at the front, which is a good thing to have. Not all utes have that. It's a good thing that this Tasman has it. But if you're feeling like the car is a bit skittish and a bit skatey on dirt roads, just stick it in four-wheel drive. Now, whether that's having a lock center diff or another different four-wheel drive system, I won't get down too far in the weeds here. But safe to say, if you've got four-driven wheels on slippery conditions, that is a better thing to have. So I mentioned before the fact that there are so many tracks around this area, and I'm here, and I'm going to give this Tasman a bit of a test to see how really good it is off-road. Now this is a lower trim level Tasman. There is the X Pro higher up that has more equipment, more off-road stuff available. This is a much more affordable model, but let's see what sort of capability it has. And this, I'll be honest with you, this is pretty steep and rough terrain here. Just cruising up nice and slow. So far, so good. Now this Tasman doesn't have a selectable diff-lock like most of the other utes in the segment do. It's actually got an automatic diff-lock, and I can feel that right now. It operates at low speeds, and it, as I pop up over here, there you go, that's actually pretty good. It operates only at low speeds. It locks those rear wheels in together, but we've also got a really good traction control system here, so this Tasman's actually making pretty short work of this steep, challenging climb. A little bit more, a little bit more. Little bit of scrabbling there. The trick though is to not back off. Keep a steady throttle input, because what these new modern four-wheel drives have is this off-road traction control system that requires a little bit of wheel spin. The better ones require less wheel spin. This one's pretty good, by the way. And then what it can do is effectively brake that wheel individually, and that sends the torque to the wheel that needs it, and then you start to go forward. So if you sense a bit of wheel spin when you're off-road, don't back off straight away. Just hold that steady throttle. Don't mash the pedal, but just hold the steady throttle and you'll feel the car think about it and start to move forward. Really good trick to have, especially for the less experienced off-roaders amongst us. Currently standing amongst these iconic rock sandstone pagodas, and that really sums up the kind of nature of this part of Australia and why it is so special and unique, I think, in many ways. And I think the big thing I want to take away from this, and what I want to give to others who are watching this journey, is that you don't need the biggest, toughest four-wheel drive out there to go on an adventure, and you don't need to spend weeks out in some super remote area to get that fix, that little sense of finding your own little slice of somewhere remote and beautiful for a couple of days. Now, we've done this over a couple of days. You could do it in one day though. One big day, you can go camping, you could find some accommodation in town, you can have all of your breakfasts and lunch at a fancy cafe in town if you want. It really is up to you how you want to do it. But the big thing is, whatever is in your driveway right now, if it's a bit off-road capable, it can take you to places like we've been today. And it's not far away. There's no excuse to not get out there yourself and enjoy some parts of Australia, just like we've done now. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Drive TV. I'm Sam Purcell, and we'll see you next week.
Sam's touching me! No, I'm not! Let me off!
Welcome to Drive. How can I help you?
Buy the right car right now at drive.com.au.